As officers were en route to this location, they were advised by numerous different persons reporting that there was a shooting and that there were several different victims who were shot in the area. As officers arrived at this location, they observed that there were 2 victims who were suffering from gunshot wounds in the street. Officers quickly were able to get near where those victims were and drag them back to a safe area so medical could transport them to University Medical Center. It was very apparent to the officers when they arrived here on scene which house the shooting occurred at or in front of, and where the suspect house was at. As they were continuing to direct their attention towards where the suspect residence was, another female who was in her 30s who was shot came to them from the other side of the street. All victims were then transported to University Medical Center where they got their medical treatment. As officers continued to direct their attention towards the suspect house, the suspect garage door came open and the suspect surrendered to officers here on scene without any additional incident. Based on those details, our homicide investigators, they've arrived here, they've taken over this investigation. As I mentioned earlier, all victims went to University Medical Center. One of the victims, a male in his 30s, was later pronounced deceased. Another one of the males in his 40s and the female victim that I mentioned earlier are both stable with non-life-threatening injuries. The preliminary information that we have right now is that the suspect and the 2 initial victims that officers came across are possibly all roommates that live inside the residence, that there was a verbal altercation that led to a physical altercation in the residence. And at some point in time during that physical altercation, our suspect produced a firearm and began shooting at both of those victims. Based on the evidence that we have right now, we believe the female victim, she lives in a house across the street. We believe that she is a completely innocent bystander and was struck by an errant gun round, the gunshot as the shooting occurred. This was a pretty dynamic incident. It occurred in a very tight neighborhood over here. We're extremely lucky that this is all that happened, and only one person is deceased on this call right now. I urge anyone with any information related to this call to please reach out to the LVMPD homicide section or reach out through Crime Stoppers in Nevada if you wish to remain anonymous. As I mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts in this investigation, and we are going to be out here for a long extended period of time as we continue to process this scene to ascertain exactly what occurred, why it occurred, where the shooting occurred, as we continue to move through the night on this investigation. With that, I'll take any additional questions you may have.
Are there any people who are not able to go home right now because of this investigation?
Anyone who cannot get to their house, they might not be able to get to their residence via their car, but they can park anywhere on one of these side streets and officers are able to get them to their house. I urge anyone, just approach an officer that's at the tape where the tape is, advise them where you live. We will figure out a way to get you back to your residence.
Is that weapon in police custody that was used in the
Yes. Yes, the suspect identified where the weapon was, and that weapon is currently in the same place where it was left as we continue to process the scene.
What charges?
Right now, I'm going to hold off on mentioning any charges. We still have a lot of information we need to know before we can move forward with this.
Once more, if we don't already have it, ages of victims?
You have one male in his 30s who's deceased, one male in his 40s who's in stable condition, and you have a female in her 30s who is in stable condition. Suspect is a male, I believe in his 30s. I apologize. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your time.